The Hebrew text in the Bible has hidden formats. By revealing these formats, I will prove the first writer's words were hidden from you. These formats look like poetry as I group them into small paragraphs. Their grouping will become known as a psalm, and together they become psalms. Let me show you our Creator's 12 commandments, listed in Exodus chapter 20, verses 1 through 17. Any father of a family or his wife who did not obey any one of these 12 commandments, our Creator demanded they bring him a sin offering. Thus, our Creator defined the word sin as not obeying any one of these 12 commandments. Next, I want to show you how I changed one word in Exodus 26, verse 26, the word bars to arches, and the words now reveal the style of the roof for our Creator's tent for meeting with Him. Let me show you the translator's words from the preface of the 1611 King James Bible. They gave 4 reasons for themselves or others to edit the Bible's words. The red arrow at the top points to their 3rd reason to edit the text. By the light and feeling we attained unto ourselves. The next red arrow down points to them giving the title, the Divine, to a clerk named Gregory. The next block of words, they point out they were happy that the first emperor of Rome established the year to the course of the sun. Behind this text means Nebuchadnezzar ordered his kingdom to follow our Creator's calendar when he stopped eating grass. Did you notice the letter S in sun is capitalized? This is to give respect to the Egyptian sun god Ra. Have you seen the Egyptian obelisk in the Vatican's front yard? The last arrow points to your reward for studying the Bible. Your reward is to have a fellowship with the saints and participation of a heavenly nature that will never fade away. There is no such thing as nature to a truthful Christian. Our Creator created everything. By their own words, they were not seeking to know our Creator or Jesus. Not everyone has the knowledge to correct every word. I have an old Bible program that has the New American Standard Bible 1977 concordance to help find a better word. Their concordance has the number of times they use that English word in a parenthesis for that Hebrew word. The translators removed his name, YHVH, to put in 2 titles, Lord and God. I replaced those titles using the letters Y and V as his name, for the Hebrew language does not have a J, O, or W. By using these 2 letters, I am closer to the truth than anyone using J, O, or W for his name. So why is there a single letter O in the Hebrew text 1,095 times? No proper English was used. The blue highlighted text is text that I am removing. The red highlighted words are little words that I'm adding. Gray italic words are words that I added. To respect and honor our Creator, all capital letters in purple are our Creator's words. This is Jesus' prophecy, for I am revealing the first writer's words to tell you the true truths about Jesus. As the text is revealed, you can taste the writer's style of wording. Their words will take your belief to trusting our Creator. You will be watching prophecy before your eyes as I edit true truths back into their psalms. Okay, this is going to be chapter 11, but what I got to do is show you what happened in 10, because 10 seems to be in pieces. But the object of what I'm looking here for in Daniel, it's been a 3-verse format like this, and usually, or it is all the time, the first sentence is a statement, and then you can see how I got a comma and a period, that these 2 verses connect together to make a larger sentence that reinforces what the statement is saying. This becomes a small paragraph. Then it repeats that these 2 can become a larger paragraph. What this is just a piece of the pie, though, or a piece of the puzzle, because this is the beginning of Daniel. Now, I've had to change, this is some of my editing that when I've looked over, I'm convinced now that these names need to be changed to these names. And then this is actually, I think, the only text that is in now the Bible that would say that Daniel was given a decree from Darius, the king for Babylon. Now this guy wasn't king that long, but I think he only lived like 3-4 years, if that. So, but that's all that I could get, because you can see as the text goes down, becomes another group, and then this becomes another vision, but it doesn't have what's being said as see here how it says, I come to tell you, it's going to talk about the future, vision to the future, and then it just completely stops. And then this here is talking about like the Prince of Greece or the King of Greece, and I don't really have this figured out yet. Usually I only use like 2 major words to make a verse, as you can see here. So I try to stick to this pattern, which actually you get when you study the formatter and work with it. Now, this text here, I don't know where it's going, even though that this is like going to be talking about Rome, and I don't know where it goes because the other chapters are complete. So if there's going to be any pieces to be found with these pieces here, is in what I'm going to do in 11 and in 12. So I'm going to start out with 11 here, and hopefully I've got things figured out here on the stream without it causing problems. So such as hesitation for you. Okay. In the first year of Darius the Mede, and I know that that's wrong, the text above has him being a relative to King Nebuchadnezzar. It said it's a descendant, but it can't be a descendant from Nebuchadnezzar. That's what the text said. I changed it to say third ruler, okay? He would have been second ruler. The second ruler is Nebuchadnezzar's son, who's going to die on the same day as his dad, Nebuchadnezzar. But he was eating grass for a while, and things had really, our Creator had been showing himself like he did in Egypt to Nebuchadnezzar. This guy here seems to be well aware of everything. So I'm thinking he actually took over, and why he was called the second at the time Nebuchadnezzar was eating grass. Just saying it was ill. So I got him, either he has to be his brother or just saying the second. But because Nebuchadnezzar's son was second, but he died, I don't know how I should write this right now. In the first year of, or no, it's not of, it's for Darius. I'm going to have to put our king here, because for one, I have to make it first person. That's this. And I've got to add this word, so I make it gray text. And you can see the italic words when I get done, you'll see that I've added those text. But this means I'm removing it. The green here means I'm changing that word. And I do that quite often, but I'm going through to explain everything. And this is going to be recorded for history. Once people find out that there's actually a hidden format, they will want to know about what did the guy actually do and why did he do that word, not this word. And well, that's what this video is about, or all the videos I'm making right now. I arose to be encouraged. and a protection from him. I arose to be encouragement and a protection for him. Now, that can't be true at all. David or Daniel is made as the assistant or an advisor to King Nebuchadnezzar, but when he fell ill, he was then assigned as to be like I put it as a chief, like a head of all of Babylon, to become like the guy who makes sure all the accounts are coming from all the governors around the kingdom, to that when the money's coming in, he's to overlook it. Guys try to kill him or try to throw him into the lion's den, and Daenerys is the one that took him out. So Daenerys is already king, so it can't be that he rose to protect him. So this has to be wrong. But I still need one more verse here to come here to talk, to put here. And I don't see it. I really don't see it. You don't need the word now. That's just that I will tell you the truth. Behold, 3 more kings are going to arise in Persia. See, they made him like the king of Persia already. And yet Cyrus is the king for Persia. And that comes from the text Ezra, who was a scribe, and Zephaniah, I think, is a prophet. And those two stories, when they go together, is about the returning from the captives coming into being sent to Jerusalem to rebuild it. And when you figure that out, you got to say that who's there, and there's this writing back and forth to the kings as to say what was happening, like who sent me, and then the king changed, and then the guys that were trying to stop him wrote to him, and he didn't know what was going on, so he had them stop building. But then whoever was governor down here, or assigned governor, and I have Daniel assigned, because he's writing in Babylonian back to the king and telling him, I know in the records, look for me and you'll get my story. And then Cyrus, when he writes back, he says, build Jerusalem, and please pray to YV, our creator, for my sons to be kings after me. So we have only 2 kings in those stories. When I've come to Daniel, these same names are here, and so I'm trying to put them in the correct order as I'm going, knowing what I've done in that text. Now, I know that above it here, you had a while to look at that, so this is usually my calling card. So when people see me streaming, they're kind of, I hope that's what's making them actually click on this, because sometimes a title just doesn't do it here. I will tell you the truth. Behold, 3 more kings are going to rise. But that's a 4 verse. But actually, behold, three more. I don't see how this is going to work out here. I will tell you the truth. But this is separated, so let me separate it. I tell you the truth. Okay, that's a statement. Why not from Persia? Like the next king after Darius. He's got to tell him what's going to happen next. So it's a rise from Persia. That's the only way I can make sense of this. Okay. We will arise from Persia. Now, out of this whole thing, and I don't need this, behold a king will arise from Persia. Okay. Now I think I can trust that as who's going to take over from Darius. Because you got to remember, Daniel's the one that told King Nebuchadnezzar what his dream was and about the kingdoms that are coming. And it has changed from what the secular world has made it. And I'm using the text by knowing only the Bible text. I don't care about what's been written. I don't care if Persia started at 500 BC. That number doesn't make sense either. Because actually the text, Nebuchadnezzar, when they go up there, they're coming back in 40 years because the prophecy is that Jerusalem, his house in Jerusalem, are going to be reestablished by 70 years. Okay. So, and then I figured it out that because so much of the text is missing in some of those books, they don't have any information in them as to tell the truth. So I won't be using a lot of the other books. I'm only going to stick to 24, and 4 of them are Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And that's the only thing from the Greek side. So when it comes down to knowing that, he's going to be telling now Persia, it's going to be, he's telling him about Nebuchadnezzar's dream, maybe. Or this goes back into the description of what Daniel told him of a dream. Maybe they divided it up here and put it down here. I don't know. But when I get pieces like this, that's when I don't like it. I really like it when I got something. Then a fourth will gain far more riches. What does riches have to do with anything? I don't know if Rome ends up getting more land. I don't think so. Although, yes, Rome does go into England. There's that I know. So we'll gain then a fourth will gain. I don't need this. And then I'm not using this as the major word. I'm using this, and a fourth, and the fourth. Then the fourth kingdom. Because it's going to be Nebuchadnezzar is the head, Darius is going to be the neck, Cyrus is Persia, which is the body and arms, and then Rome is the iron and clay. So then the fourth will gain more land, will gain more kingdoms, comma, and this would be the iron, okay, is what I'm seeing here. This is the iron. More kingdoms. I guess I can use the I'll just put and. He will become, it has to be stronger. Iron is stronger than bronze. So now what I'm seeing here is this goes with his vision, or his telling Nebuchadnezzar what his more in detail of what happened here. Those riches he will rouse the whole against Greece. But that's not so. He's coming from Greece. Greece is Rome. I know it's Italy, but I'm just saying this doesn't make sense here. Now I know Greece becomes, or is a small city at about 700 years before Jesus comes, so they say. I don't think it's that far away or back that far. But it's going to become like the thinking center. So it might start out as Greece here as a city. Like he's, through his riches, he's going to move the capital down, is what I'm seeing. Because empire here, this word here is in fuchsia for a reason, and that's because it's added text in 1977 NSAB, and I am using the NSAB text here. Through his riches, and it's not riches, through his gains, through his gains, and as I'm going to say, as, well, I guess I'm going to need to say that I added that. And as a mighty king, He will rule See, now I don't need the word mighty to keep the subject going. And as king, he will rule, period, with great authority, and will do as he pleases, which most kings did anyway. So I don't know why that would be there. But he will become stronger. Through his gains, he will arouse the whole. And it's not the realm of Greece, because Greece is going to be a city. And it's got to be something like to the city. To a city. But it's got to be by Greece, which means it would be Rome, but we can't put Rome in because maybe that's not around yet. To a city by Greece. Now you got to understand, I've done this for 30 years, so some of this stuff you might edit differently, but that's why I was sent to correct it. Studied it for so long that it does become a little bit easier to know story here, story there, and go from there. So how am I doing in the delay? I guess my delay's gotten a little longer from what I can see. So let me just shut that off. Disable low latency mode. I've got it for you guys to control that. So I'm just going to shut that off and keep the chat open. And he will become stronger. Do I add the word and? Because I've got it spaced that this is, I got to find the next two groups, and those two groups go together pretty good here. And through his gains, from his gains he will arouse. If I do it like this, how might this piece of the puzzle right here, he's got to take it from Babylon and he's going to come here. So he will arouse. He'll arouse his army. Through his gains, forth will come, and he will become stronger. And through his gains, he will arise, not arouse, arise. 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 The whole doesn't make sense, so it's got to be the word against. He was against. Yours, if he's talking to Denarius, against yours, or against his, because he's talking about Persia next, then the second was his. It's like to move to another city by Greece. I'm going to have to look that up. I got to use that as a yellow here, just because, and through his gains he will arise against his. Third, this is the king from Persia. Then here, and as king he will rule with great authority. So I know it's got to be, this has got to be right somehow here against his. Realm. Let me see what the secular dictionary says here. Because if it's like a kingdom, land, empire. Okay. Against his, or his realm. His, I'm going to put it this way, but his kingdom will be by Greece. That's the only way I can keep the word Greece and make this. Okay. Arose for his encouragement. It looks like this might be part of this story, but these two hook together too good. These are too good. Now, as soon as he rises up, his kingdom will be broken up and parceled out. But that isn't true. They rule for, I think, 400 years or something. 300. And you can't really trust what they know about Rome, because from what I read about all the information they got from Rome, Rome was so evil that when it was faded out or broke up or somebody come along, and it was that nobody collected any history about them for like 700 years after Rome was gone. So you might not know that, but that's what the archaeologists have recorded in their writings, that it had gone, and it was 700 years before we went back and searched for it. So that's how I know. Can I trust that? Well, no, but I can say that there's quite a few years there that before they went to got any information. So no, that seems to be the text before it breaks. Which he hold on to but as soon as he has arisen, I don't know how many kings for Rome. What is the text telling me it is, though? That's more important, what I can find in the text. So, but as soon as it is established, now I know there has to be a couple more of these kings here, or emperors, maybe they were called. I think in 1611, they were considered emperors and not Caesars, or so they are emperors. But as soon as like maybe part of it at the top, because Rome, I don't think, goes in and conquers Egypt. So from there down, that still remains the same. So maybe it's Persia breaks off to the side as soon as he arises. His kingdom not broken up and parceled out, but his kingdom will be divided. All this is telling me is divided. I think that's pretty much what this text here will be divided. As soon as he arises, his kingdom will be divided. Or the 4 points of the compass. That's no, that doesn't happen. So this is just wrong. What verse do I have to work? But not to his descendants. And Rome didn't have, they kind of ruled by what, a body of senators, I think they called themselves. And then when one was killed, they decided among them who was the next. So that would be right here, but not to his descendants. Nor according to his authority. Period. This is not really needed. It's just kind of like a double of the text. Not according to his authority. Or he will be uprooted. For he will be uprooted. I mean, it's got to be for another. Let me try that out. Be uprooted. To others beside. Or another. Then I got to have something here. Will be beside him. That's the only way I can see that this is going to make any sense. Will be beside him. Not according to his authority, for he will be uprooted for another who will be beside him. I think I got that right now. I really do. I think that's, but as you can see, now these two do make the next group. So it means that the very first group, there's got to be more text here. Then the king of the south will grow stronger, and one of his princes who will gain ascended over him and obtain dominion. His dominion will be a great dominion. After some years, they will form an alliance, and the daughter of the king from the south will come to the king of the north. Okay. The text is not going to tell us everything because of Nebuchadnezzar's dream. We know that what I just wrote here is pretty much what Rome is going to happen. But when Jesus comes, it's all going to crumble, and it's all going to be divided up. Is this Jesus? As soon as he arises, his kingdom will. When Yah arises, not to his descendants, nor according to his authority, for he will be uprooted for others who will be beside him. Is this Jesus here? But as soon as he arises, I'm going to put this as Jesus. As soon as he arises, his kingdom will be divided, but not to his descendants, nor according to his authority. He will be uprooted for another whom will be beside him. I think when Jesus is stuck here, that is completing or going with Nebuchadnezzar's dream. And I'm going to leave it Jesus here. I really do believe that's reading. I sorry for the silence, but I got to read sometimes and actually think a little bit here. Okay, but this text we don't care about because we're only going to talk up to about Jesus because we know that we're only looking for Jesus' kingdom to come about, and then Jesus will be able to be king for everybody around the world or all the races around the world to enter into heaven. So that doesn't need any of this. This is, and then alliance made for the daughter of the king, and the south will come to the king of the north and carry a peaceful agreement. She will not retain power, her position of power, nor will he remain in his power, but she will give up along with those who brought her in. We don't need to know that. I don't think there's a queen that ruled, is there? Is there? A living queen I'm talking about. And the one who sired her will support her at those times. That's not working. But the descendants of her line will rise in place, become an army, and enter the fortress of the king of the north. And he will, they're just, you notice they're not really saying much with all these words. Not why, not who is stronger, who is weaker, as to rule over. Also their gods and their metal images and precious vessels will be taken into captivity to Egypt. He will be taken. No, I don't believe this happened. And it really doesn't matter to me. Then later will enter the realm of the king of the south, and he will return to his own land. His sons will mobilize an assembly with the great forces. Again, it's not for what reasons. I don't see anything here. Oh, the king of south is going to now enrage and go for fight the guy in the north. Yeah. Got a battle between north and south, and a queen. Yeah, I don't think so. Then the later will raise up a great multitude and multitude into the hand of the former, but they're all dead by now if they fought each other. And the multitude carried away, his heart will be lifted up, and he will cause tens of thousands to fall, yet he will not prevail. The king of the north will rise again with a great multitude than the former. You get the picture here? When you break it down, it's not much saying much here. And after an interval for some years, he will pass through with a great army with much equipment. Now in those times, many will rise up against the king of the south. Now we got the south guy mentioned again. None of the kings from east or west, huh? Violent ones among your people will also lift themselves up. In order to fulfill the vision, they will fall down. They're going to fulfill the vision, the prophecy, if anything. In order to fulfill the prophecy, they will fall down. The king of the north will come up, cast up a siege mountain, captured the well-fortified city that was in the forest, I think, if I was reading some of that. But the forces of the south will not stand their ground. And even choice troop they can't stand. So, but he who comes against him, he will be pleased, and no one will be able to withstand him. Okay, that guy from the north is pretty strong, man. But I don't see that in history. No. Daughter of women to ruin it. He will also give to him the daughter of women to ruin it, but she will not take a stand for him or be on his side. He will turn his face to the coastlands and capture many. Well, when you look at Israel and going north and south, well, the Mediterranean is there. It's all coastline. So that's the commander will stop. It's going against him and moreover. See, now it's his fortress on his own land. No, he will stumble and fall through the jewel of his kingdom. Yet in a few days, then within a few days, after all this, he's going to scatter. Yeah, no. There's nothing being said in any of this. I mean, this is like trying to put the next 700 years of history down. You'll gain power with a small force of people now. They knew what they're talking about. They're adding crap into more crap. No. There's the gonna go against the king of the south again. Yeah. Extremely large and mighty army. But he will not stand for the schemes devised against him. And those who eat choice food will devour him. Oh, I was wondering how come they were going to get rid of him. And his army will overflow and follows. No. Sometimes it gets so ridiculous that you got to look at the text and do some thinking, like, these are some oversalted words about nothing. Against the holy covenant, there's an everlasting covenant, but there's no holy covenant. And it's too late. It's been 700 years now, probably after Jesus. But It's funny because I'm reading this and I'm seeing this, the ships. There are some cities that just didn't last that long. Okay, they didn't keep their name, so, and it would have been, well, the sanctuary fortress. New to me. A regular sacrifice will be set up. No. He will turn to godliness, godlessness, and will act wickedly, then take action. No. We know about Jesus. We really have a good idea what happens in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. If the king in the north and south go battling back and forth, that's got to take a couple 100 years. Easily. No, until the end time. No. Monstrous things, he'll magnify himself against the God of gods. No. And he's going to magnify himself above the gods. Oh. But instead, he will honor the gods of the fortress. Like gods of the fortress are important here. You got to remember now, every word in the Bible is true. So he will honor the God of the fortress. A false God is in the text as going to be honored. Okay. No. I'm just seeing this. This is just not. Sorry. But I started reading the next paragraph here. Edom, Moab, and Ammon. These guys were killed off. Their women, their children, the men, their animals were all killed. Edom wasn't killed off because that is Esau's people, and David ruled over them. So how did these guys come back alive? I mean, weren't they Romans, or they were? No, I can't even make any sense out of that. That's completely, really stretching it there. Over hidden treasures of silver and gold, like they found it finally, but they don't know who put it there. Over the precious things of Egypt and Libyans. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sure. No. Between the seas, a beautiful holy mountain, he'll come to his end and no one will help him. Okay. Obviously, that was quite fast to go through that, but that is just stupid words here. So what I want to do, though, I think in the text that I've got here actually goes up with the text above it. So let me clean that up. And it's going to go right here. Not much. Okay, now I'm pretty sure there's something missing here. That would be an honest to say that that can be put here. Now, is there another one here that now he's going to talk about what's missing between here and here? I don't know. I'm just going to clean this up. And then when I go to put it together later, but you can see that there's this format and this makes a story. It's making a story. Okay. So it's not like I'm not trying to find something. I need text that's grouping together. This Microsoft does not allow me to, whoops, put a format in here that it likes and keeps. It works for a while and then it distorts. So do that. And I'm thinking I've got pieces here. It could be a whole story here, but I'm just missing this. Because I remembered this here. This is not good here because this didn't connect to anything. And this is not telling me much of it. So it's a vision, but where's the rest of it? Because when I went through here and divided up, I realized that this could all be a one story here. But this doesn't go with it. And this I definitely need. And it's gone. The most important part of the text of why Darius is then going to be given to Daniel. And then maybe this down here. Then it was in the first year for King Daenerys, our king. Had a vision from our Creator. And then it was the third year, or his second year, King Daenerys for Babylon decreed for us, and was given to Daniel to go down here, and then because this is telling him, anyways. I can't even talk myself into any of these, how they're hooking together, so, but that'll be the end of this one.